Daniel Voss was the kind of man people admired from a distance and whispered about up close. As the charismatic CEO of a fast-rising tech company, he had everything: wealth, influence, and a reputation for turning failing ideas into million-dollar empires. In a city that thrived on ambition, Daniel was its golden example. But behind the polished interviews and tailored suits was a man whose private life was far less controlled. On a rainy Thursday night, Daniel left his downtown office after a late meeting. Security cameras caught him stepping into the parking garage, adjusting his coat, glancing at his phone. That was the last confirmed sighting of him. By morning, his car was still there. When Daniel didn't show up for a major investor meeting the next day, concern quickly turned into panic. His assistant called his phone straight to voicemail. By afternoon, the police were involved. At first, investigators treated it as a possible abduction. The garage had a faulty camera in one corner. There were no signs of struggle, no blood, no witnesses. In a city known for occasional violent crimes, it seemed like a random act. Wrong place, wrong time. But Daniel Voss wasn't a random man. As detectives dug deeper, they realized Daniel's life wasn't as clean as his public persona suggested. He had a reputation, quiet but persistent, as a playboy. Multiple relationships overlapped, many of them hidden. Expensive gifts, secret apartments, late-night meetings. Women who thought they were the only one. Until they weren't. 3 names quickly surfaced. Lena Carter, a marketing executive who had been dating Daniel for nearly a year. She believed they were serious. Tessa Grant, a bartender Daniel had been seeing casually, though she claimed he promised her more. Maya Rios, a former employee who left the company abruptly after what she described as a personal betrayal. Each woman had a reason to feel hurt, maybe even angry, but none of them had a clear link to his disappearance. Then came the financials. Daniel's company wasn't as stable as it seemed. Behind the scenes, there were risky investments, hidden debts, and growing pressure from partners. One name stood out: Victor Hale, Daniel's co-founder. Victor was the opposite of Daniel, quiet, reserved, almost invisible in public. But insiders knew he was the real brain behind the company's technology. Recently, tensions between the two had escalated. Emails revealed arguments over money, control, and a potential buyout deal Daniel was pushing without Victor's approval. Still, motive wasn't enough. A week after Daniel vanished, a small piece of evidence changed everything. A cleaning worker in the parking garage came forward. She remembered seeing Daniel that night. Not alone, but arguing with someone near his car. At first, she couldn't identify the person. But after reviewing photos, she pointed to Victor Hale. Victor denied it, said he hadn't seen Daniel that evening, claimed he was home alone. But phone records told a different story. Victor's phone had pinged a tower near the office that night. Under pressure, Victor's story began to crack. Investigators uncovered that Daniel had been planning to push Victor out of the company entirely, cut him off from the business he helped build. Worse, Daniel had been secretly transferring funds into personal accounts, leaving Victor to deal with the fallout. But what truly broke Victor wasn't the money. It was personal. Lena Carter, Daniel's serious girlfriend, had previously been involved with Victor. Their relationship had ended quietly, long before Daniel entered the picture. Victor had watched as Daniel not only betrayed him professionally, but unknowingly, or perhaps knowingly, took someone he once cared about. According to Victor's eventual confession, he confronted Daniel in the parking garage. What started as an argument escalated quickly. Voices raised, accusations thrown, years of resentment boiling over in minutes. Victor claimed he didn't plan to kill Daniel. But anger has a way of rewriting intentions. The confrontation turned physical. Daniel fell, hit his head against the concrete. The impact was fatal. Panicked, Victor staged the scene to look like a disappearance. He moved the body, disposed of evidence, and hoped the city would swallow the truth. Daniel Voss's body was recovered weeks later, hidden miles outside the city. The news shook everyone. To the public, he had been a visionary leader. To those who knew him closely, he was far more complicated. a man whose charm often masked recklessness, whose ambition left damage in its wake. Victor Hale was arrested and charged with murder. Lena, Tessa, and Maya were left to process a different kind of loss. Not just of a man, but of the illusions they once believed about him. In the end, Daniel's story wasn't about a random act of violence. It was about secrets, about the quiet damage people carry, about betrayal both personal and professional, and about how, sometimes, the most dangerous enemies aren't strangers in the dark, but the ones standing right beside you in the light.